What's going on, guys? Britta here, back with Free Code Camp's registration project. We're on step 41. With form submissions, it is useful and good practice to provide each submittable element with a name attribute. This attribute is used to identify the element in the form submission. Give each submittable element a unique name attribute of your choosing, except for the two radio inputs. So give each submittable element, so that would be the input ID. So is it the input name, first name? Let's see if that works for that one. Sorry, you should give the input expecting a last name, a name attribute. Okay, so that should be right. So then name checkbox. So we got input name equals personal account. Name equals business account. And then input name equals terms file. Number and name attribute. Okay, so then we've got input name, input name, age. Is that it? Select element, a name attribute. Select name, refer. Oh, the text area too. Text area, name, bio. Okay. On to the next one. The HTML for the registration form is finished. Now you can spruce it up a bit. Start by changing the font to Tahoma and the font size to 16 pixels. So Tahoma font size 16 pixels. Okay. Oh, I forgot. This needs to be font family. Center the H1 and P elements by giving them a margin of 1 EM. So H1, P, margin 1 EM, auto. Then align their text center. That's text align center. Okay. Center the form element by giving it a margin. So we're going to do form margin 0 auto. Then fix its size to a maximum width 500 pixels and a minimum width of 300 pixels. In between that range, allow it to have a width of 60 view. Okay, so max width 500 pix, min width 300 pixels. Okay, it's starting to look a little better. During development, it is useful to see the field set default borders. However, they make the content appear too separated. Remove the border and add 2 rem of padding only to the top and bottom of each field set. So field set, and then we're going to do border, none. Okay, and then add padding. I forget if it's padding top. Padding top. Padding bottom. Padding left. Padding right. Okay, it's looking better. Alright, to give the field set elements a bit of separation, select them and give them a border bottom of 3 pixels. So, border bottom, 3 pixels solid, number 3B, 3B4, F. The border of the last field set element looks a little out of place. Yes, it does. You can select the last element of a specific type using the last of type. So we're going to do CSS pseudo class like this. That will select the last P element. Create a new selector that targets the last field set. So we're going to do field set last of type, and then we're going to do border bottom none. Okay, and you see it took that away from the submit button there. Alright, it would be nicer to have the label text appear above the form element. Select all input text area and select elements and make them take up the full width of their parent elements. Also add 10 pixels of margin to the top of the selected element. Set the other margins to 0. So margin top, margin bottom 0, margin left 0, whoops, margin right 0. I'm not doing that right. I missed something. You should set the width to 100%. Okay, so width 100%. Alright. For the second field set, you want the input and label text to appear on the same line. Start by giving, for the second field set, so not this one, but this one. Start by giving the input elements in the second field set a class of inline. So input class equals inline. Input class inline and input class inline. Okay. Now select only the dot inline. That's how we select a class. And give them the width of unset. This will remove the earlier rule, which set all the input elements to the width 100. So if you take this away, see how they're crooked, and then you add unset, and it adds them to the same line. Add some space between the inline elements and the label text by giving a right margin. So margin right of 0.5 em. Also set all other margins to 0. So margin top 0, margin bottom 0, margin left 0. If you look close enough, you will notice the inline elements are too high on the line. Too high on the line. To combat this, set the vertical align property to middle. Vertical align middle. Did I spell that right? Vertical align middle. Vertical align middle. Can I not spell vertical align? Is set to middle. Vertical align middle. I don't understand what's going on here. Did I spell it wrong? Vertical align is set to middle. Let's reset it. Vertical align middle. So am I not supposed to have a space there? It worked that time. I don't know what I was doing wrong just now, but to make the input and text area elements blend in with the background theme, set their background color to 0A0A23. So input text area background color to number 0 A0 A23. Okay. Then give them a border of 1 pic solid number 0A0 A23. Okay. Currently, if you type in the input or text area elements, you will not be able to see the text. Also, their height is too small to be easy to use. Fix this by setting the color to number FFFFF min height to 2em. There we go, we can see it. If you want the select element to remain with a white background, but now it is not getting the same min height as the input and text area elements. Move the min height property and value so that all 3 elements types have the same min height value, and the select element still has a white background. So move the min height. Where's min height here? Min height. So the all 3 elements. So min height. Copy that to the select so the all 3 elements. Is that it? You should remove the min height from the input text area. Okay, so delete this one. To style the submit button, you can use an attribute selector, which selects an element based on the given attribute value. Here's an example. So we're going to do input name equals submit. The above selects input elements with a name of password. Now use the attribute selector to style the submit button with a display block and a width. So this display of block. Oh, let's go down so we can see that. Oh, we can see that already changed. So let's get rid of that for a second. Block width 60%. Did that change it? Input type equals submit. Oh, not name. Type. And there we can see it got smaller. With a display block, the submit button sits flush against the left edge of its parent. Use the same technique used to center the form to center the submit button. So where's the form? Maybe this. Margin. There we go, it's centered. Alright, to make the submit button look more in line with the rest of the form, give it the same height as the other fields, 2em. So height 2em. Also, increase the font size to font size 1.1 rem. And it's bigger now. To make the submit button appear more distinct, give it a background color of number 3, 3B, 3B, 4F, and a border color of white. Okay, it pops out now. Lastly, for the submit button, you want to separate it from the field set above and adjust its width to never be below 300 pixels. Change the margin property to include, for the field set above, change the margin property to include 1em. Do I put that there? On the top and bottom, while leaving the right and left margin set to auto. Then set the width as described. You should not change the width property. Use the min width property. Okay, so take this off. So min width is 300 pixels, right? And then you should use existing margin to include 1em on top and bottom. Does this make it top and bottom, or I don't know. You should use the existing margin property to include 1em on top and bottom. I don't remember where the top and bottom is. I need to look that up, guys. Hold on. So, margin top and bottom. Use the existing margin. So then it's top. 1em on the top and bottom. So it should be 1em for the top. Right should be auto. 1em auto. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Most browsers inject their own default CSS properties and values for different elements. If you look closely, you might be able to notice the file input is smaller than the other text. The file input. Yeah, it is a little smaller. By default, a padding of 1 pix, 2 pix is given to input elements you can type in. Using another attribute selector, style the input attribute selector. Input type equals type file, and to be the same padding as the other input elements. So we want it to be you should give the input type file a padding, not margin, padding of 1 pix, 2 pix. Speaking of padding, the submit button is sitting at the bottom of the form element. Add 2 em of padding only to the bottom of the form. So padding bottom 2 em. Now we can scroll up and the submit button's not right dead on the bottom. Okay, last but not least, change the text color of the terms and condition link to that. Well done. Okay, so we're gonna do the terms and conditions. So how do I select that? Terms. Set the text, I think just the color, to number DFDFE2. It didn't change it, so that must not be correct. You should use an A element selector. An A. Let me go back to the terms here. Oh, okay. Styles, so let me get rid of that. Styles should just be A. And it changed it. Alright guys, we have completed the registration form, so next will be the certification project. I want to thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.